The ViSpring Signatory Superb is the second from the top of the line and has a number of really nice features that are designed to separate this model from the rest. This model is one of the finest handmade luxury all-natural mattresses found anywhere in the world and contains a host of really nice features that are designed to enhance your quality of sleep and provide a custom sleep experience that is going to help you feel great for the rest of your day. Now, because there's so much to talk about in this mattress, I'm going to break it into three parts. We're going to talk about the quilt or the exterior, then I'm going to talk about the comfort padding layers, then we'll get to the coil system. Like other ViSpring models, the combination of quality craftsmanship and functional design start right in the quilt with the Signatory Superb. In this case, it features two materials that are all natural and have been used for centuries because of their ability to help wick away moisture and regulate body temperature. In this case, it's a combination of wool and coir. Coir comes from coconut, and wool, of course, comes from sheep. And when you combine the two, you end up with a very nice, soft feel, but yet a design that is, again, going to really promote temperature management. Now, the quilt design in this mattress, like all other ViSprings, is very special and not something to be taken lightly. And the reason for that is because it features a tight weave pattern which is designed to be impenetrable to both dust mites as well as skin cells. So this is going to keep your mattress healthy for the life of the mattress, which conceivably is the rest of your life. ViSprings all come backed by a lifetime guarantee, and the warranty is very solid. There's no catch. And this quilt design is going to maintain the health of the mattress for that lifetime. Now, in addition to softness as well as functionality, you've also got some really strong construction designs that go right into the quilt, specifically the tufting. These wool tufts here are very important and one of the reasons why ViSpring can offer a lifetime guarantee. Unlike other mattresses where the comfort materials are kind of put together using glues or things like that, ViSpring uses hand tufts. Now, this is very important because when you look at the Signatory Superb, it doesn't look like much. It's only about 11, 12 inches thick, but looks are very deceiving with this mattress. And the reason for that is because if you were to take these tufts off, the Signatory Superb would puff up to be a very tall mattress. Now, when they're building these, they put the comfort padding layers in the mattress, they put the coil system in, and then they pull it tight. And they use these tufts to secure your comfort padding layers and your coil system and keep things from shifting around. The result is a very solid yet soft feel, and it's very consistent. So there's no gaps in the comfort layers. They're not going to shift. This mattress is going to feel very nice for the lifetime expectancy that it comes with. But they don't stop there. In addition to the vertical tufts, you've also got a series of hand stitches that go through the side as well. Now, by securing the comfort layers and the coil system from both a vertical and horizontal standpoint, you can see why these mattresses feel and come with the reputation and backing that they do. Because no matter where you look in the mattress, it's very solid, very secure, yet very soft and supportive. Now, in addition to the construction benefits, there's a couple of other benefits that, while not integral to the construction or support of the mattress, are still nice to have. In this case, you've got fully functional handles, which are not an afterthought. They are sewn directly into the side of the mattress, secured properly, and it's going to make it very easy for you to rotate and flip this mattress when need be. Every ViSpring is two-sided, and the reason for that is because when you flip and rotate a mattress or a ViSpring and you follow the schedule that they include with every purchase, it's going to help ensure that your comfort layers and your coil system breaks in properly to make sure that you get a lifetime of comfort and support. The air vents help promote good air circulation through the mattress to help work with the comfort layers and the quilt to provide a temperature neutral sleeping experience. And so overall, the quilt design is just immaculate. It's very functional, it's very practical, and from a construction standpoint, the durability speaks for itself. It's an incredible product from the quilt to the tufting. So that covers the quilt. Let's get into the comfort padding layers. Comfort padding layers in the Signatory Superb are very special, and it contains two unique comfort padding materials that separate it from the previous models. First, the inclusion of Moosburger horsetail, which is incredibly special. It hand-selected, hand-teased horsetail that comes from one location in Austria. It has a reputation of having some of the finest horsetail found anywhere in the world. Now, hand teasing is important because it keeps the natural fiber springy, and it allows it to do its job of providing a soft, supple, yet very spring-like feel. And ViSpring likens the inclusion of horsetail to adding 2 million springs to the mattress because it does have a springy bounce-back effect, and it has been used for hundreds of years in both furniture as well as mattresses because of its ability to give you the really nice, comfortable feel, but the durability aspect to keep your mattress looking and feeling new for a long period of time. The second really important feature that they use is the inclusion of cashmere, which is actually blended with premium Shetland wool that comes from the Shetland Isles. Shetland wool is very important because the Shetland Isles create a unique set of environmental circumstances that allow these sheep to produce the finest wool, widely regarded to be the finest wool known to man. The inclusion of cashmere, for anyone who's ever purchased a piece of clothing that has cashmere construction, you're well aware of the benefits. But for anyone who hasn't, cashmere is one of the most exquisite luxury materials that is used in a variety of different situations where comfort as well as softness and durability is desired. Cashmere has an outstanding ability to provide a very soft, enveloping feel, but simultaneously it's a very good insulator, so it's designed to help regulate body temperature and keep things comfortable. The other premium natural materials that are used are platinum certified British fleece wool as well as organic cotton. Now, those two comfort materials, wool, just think of it as the platinum certified wool is not as high quality as Shetland wool, but it's still, in terms of the ranking scale, it's right up near the top, not something to be taken with a grain of salt. Now, the cotton, organic cotton, is a very nice feature as well, something that has been used for, again, centuries because of its ability to give you a nice soft comfort but still have the temperature regulating and insulating abilities found in some of the other materials as well. So overall, the comfort padding layers that you're going to find in the Signatory Superb, specifically the inclusion of cashmere and the Mooseburger horsetail, are going to separate it from the previous models, and one of the main reasons why this mattress has such a unique, luxurious, great feel to it. Now, moving on to the coil system. The coil system in the Signatory Superb features a high coil count, over 3,000 coils in a king size, and that means miles of pure virgin vanadium steel are used in this coil system to give you a very strong coil system that is also pliable. So it's designed to not only give you support but also work with the comfort padding layers to ensure you get the comfort that you need. Now, the construction of the coils, as I mentioned, it is pure virgin vanadium steel. Very nice construction process that goes on there to ensure things are going to perform the way that they're supposed to. And ViSpring does make all of their own coils, which is a nice touch. They have complete control over quality. And the style of coil that's used is the most important aspect of this coil system. And it's a unique calico pocketed design that is the Marshall coil, which dates back to 1901. James Marshall was the pioneer of this coil system, and it revolutionized bedding. That's take up a lot of time, but it's kind of a romantic story. His wife was in the hospital, and he was not happy with the style of mattress that she was on, so he created his own, something that would give her the comfort that she needed. Now, that same philosophy and design ViSpring still uses to this day. They've got over 100 years of experience making this coil system, so very special, and they very functional coil system as well. So getting into the how does this coil system come together? It is a hand-nested calico pocketed coil, which is put together in a honeycomb pattern, which is important because when you put the coil system in a honeycomb pattern, there's no gap between the coils, so you're going to get solid, dependable, consistent comfort and support regardless of where you lay. This has two coil systems actually stacked on top of one another, which gives a very substantial feel, and it's a really nice upgrade versus some of the single coil systems found in the entry-level line of ViSprings. Now, in addition to the unique honeycomb design, as well as the virgin vanadium steel, you've also got the added benefit of this coil system helping reduce motion transfer. So if you're a light sleeper or you sleep next to someone who is, you're going to be able to get out of bed and not disturb the other person's sleep. This coil system is fully functional with an adjustable base, so if you're in the market or if you're interested, then there's no problem there. Now the best part, the coil system is custom fit for you. Unlike other mattresses where you have to adapt to the mattress or find the right mattress that's perfect for you, the Signatory Superb features a custom coil design, which means that you come to our store, you try out the Signatory Superb, you feel like you really enjoy the initial comfort. After that, we find the coil system that is perfect for your body type. So like a fine suit or a fine piece of custom clothing, the mattress is going to conform to your body specifically to make sure that you get the support and the comfort that you need. Now, if you and your partner have different body types, that's no problem. Every ViSpring has the ability to offer different coil tensions depending on what part of the mattress you're talking about. So they've got that part covered. So overall, if you're looking for one of the finest handmade all-natural luxury mattresses found anywhere in the world today, then the Signatory Superb is an outstanding choice. Its combination of solid, dependable, and functional features make it a great choice and something that is, again, designed to last for a lifetime. I hope you found this video helpful, but if you have any questions, please feel free to leave us a comment, or you can give us a call at 1-877-545-2772.